Hi, Caroline.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
It's great talking to you again.
You too.
Well, thank you so much for dedicating your time to do this interview. We really appreciate it.
Sure. Still feel bad for missing the last time we tried to schedule.
I
So.
know, but I mean, you did have a good excuse. A pretty
Valid.
cool excuse.
I'm busy at the AMAs.
Yes.
I mean, we got to cut you some
No,
slack there.
that was a busy day. That was a really busy day.
Well, we know how awesome your success story is, and being a student, graduated from High Point. We definitely wanted to speak to you out of anyone. So
I know.
Thanks.
Well, if you don't mind, can you share a little bio about yourself, the year you graduated High Point, and your major, and what you're doing now?
Yeah, of course. So I graduated in 2012. I was an electronic media major under the communications umbrella. I first started on XFactor in TV, and then I moved over to the music world and worked for a music management company for just over 2 years. And then I just about 2 months ago moved back into TV, and I'm on Dancing with the Stars now.
That's amazing. Congratulations on that new job.
Thanks. Yeah, it's really fun. I miss music. TV.
Well, we're going to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Just about your time at High Point and getting into your career. So, how did majoring in electronic media prepare you for employment after graduation?
I would say it prepared me because there was, first of all, I really didn't know anything. I just was like, oh, this would be cool. And so
We're kind of in the same boat.
yeah,
Join the party.
The electronic media major is a little more geared towards TV news, and I knew I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do reality. I figured that out through the major, but that's a good thing. And there's a lot of things that overlap, just as far as like a lot of the way things run, as far as cameras and camera crews, and news is similar to reality in that you're not planning anything, and you're just kind of catching what you can and then editing it to what makes a story. So, because you can't plan how whatever the news and sports teams and whatever happens.
Right.
So that was really interesting to learn that aspect. What's the name of that class that helped me with that?
Video production?
Yes, yeah.
Mediated comm.
Did you have Professor Powell?
And believe it or not, comm law did teach me a lot once I got in the music world, because it's a lot about who owns what lyrics on what song and what producer owns it, and there's just a lot of legal behind it. And so that was super helpful. And then just some the PR lessons and marketing and all that, there's a lot you can take away from it.
Right.
That definitely helped me in my career.
That's awesome. That's good to
And also helped me
to
to decide what I don't want to do, you know?
Yeah, I figured that out. I do not like news. I like entertainment.
Entertainment is obviously such a thrill.
Anchoring for serious news is not that fun.
Yeah.
For sure, I know. And I took a sports news one, and I just was ugh. I'm just so much more into stories and
exactly.
But regardless, it's all the same boat, and so it's good to learn.
That's good to know. Did you have a lot of internships before you got your position with Demi Lovato?
I had one internship in my whole life.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
You give me hope, Caroline.
Which is probably not what you want to hear, but I had a great summer job working at a swim club as a lifeguard with all my friends, and I was I'm not giving this up for an internship where I'm not getting paid. So I didn't. And my senior year, second semester, I needed an internship to graduate because you need that credit.
Right.
And I sort of thought going abroad was going to take care of it, and it didn't. So I was trying to get an internship at ABC News, even though I hated news, and it was sort of falling through and wasn't panning out, and I was oh, this is not good. So I literally Googled film in North Carolina, and the Greensboro Film Commission came up, which is super close. It's in Wendover or something. And I called over there, and I was like, hey, do you guys have interns? And they were like, no. And I was like, you do now. I'm gonna be an intern.
Oh my gosh.
So I drove down there the next day and interviewed with a woman there, and then that was my internship that introduced me to XFactor, and so that was my one and only.
That is hilarious, though.
I'm so jealous.
I know. Like, what made you have, like, that confidence to just go down there and say you now have an intern? Was it
scary?
Well, first of all, I was like kind of in a sticky situation where like I was already almost past the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
I was right at the deadline, basically. And I knew I didn't want to do news. I didn't know if I wanted to do movies. I didn't know if I wanted to do what. And I like know that there's things filming everywhere. Like you wouldn't believe it, but there's like it's not just LA, New York. It's like everywhere. So I was like, well, we'll see what's going on here. And then I don't know. I was sort of had no other option. I remember I locked myself in, like, the study room at the sorority house, which I didn't even live in the house, so I don't know why I locked myself there. And I just Googled everything and just called this place and, like, figured it out. And then the school was really helpful. And, like, because they didn't really have a program, they had one in the past, but because they didn't have a current program, like, we kind of had to create the curriculum so it counted for those credits. And so the communications school and my advisor was like super helpful in getting that paperwork done because I kind of pulled it out of nowhere.
That's awesome.
Well,
They are very helpful here.
Yeah.
I have to say.
For sure.
I mean, I'm so glad that it worked out. Like, you were, that's pretty lucky.
I know, it was
That's so
really
cool.
lucky. And what a film commission does, if like anyone doesn't know, is basically when you want to film in a certain area, you can call the film commission to help you out with getting local crew and locations and helping you out with where to stay and where to shoot in hotels. And so, like, we did a lot of location scouting. Like, so if someone called and they're like, hey, we want to shoot in Greensboro and we need, like, a farm, like, I would go scout a farm and, like, figure out the best one would be for their movie or commercial or music video or whatever it might be, and, like, create a little, like, document just saying, like, the highlights of it, how much it would cost, and you know, what parameters you need on it. And so that, and then, like, they do a whole bunch of, like, stuff with the crews that you need, like, local cameramen and stuff. And those are everywhere. Those commissions are everywhere.
That's cool. That's
Very
awesome.
cool.
And the town benefits because by bringing television and movie and whatever production into the town, it's, like, helping the economy because people go to their restaurants and whatever. So it's
Very cool.
kind
Interesting.
of like a town thing. Yeah.
So you're very well known on this campus.
Oh my gosh.
And
I've
a
heard
lot
it
of
so
people
much.
want to know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're very well known in the comm department.
In a good way.
No, like in a very good way.
I'm glad it's in a good
Oh,
way.
no, of course. It's in a good way. But everyone, including myself, what exactly was your job title for Demi Lovato? And how did you get that?
I was her personal assistant for the first bit of it, and then I was her day-to-day manager for the last, I don't know, almost a year, I guess.
Did you get that through working with XFactor?
Yes, it's on XFactor. The second season of XFactor, it's my first year, I was just in charge of, like, creating the schedule for the judges and what time they needed to be here and there and what they needed, like, parking spots, and if they needed what kind of food there, like, on their riders and everything. I did that season, my first season, which was season 2, and then season 3, I was a reality producer, an associate producer for just the judges, so I would produce any, like, with a producer. I was just the AP, like, with whatever scenes and whatever goes into the episodes, including the judges, and anytime they interact with the contestants. So I became really close with Demi's team because she was on both those seasons.
Okay.
And then, like, the show ended, like, a week before Christmas or something, or just right around Christmas, and so her management had asked me just, like, a couple weeks before that if I wanted to join their team after, and at that point I had started in TV. I was like, this is cool. She was about to go on a world tour. I was like, yeah, I'll travel. Like, that'd be cool.
That's so cool.
So I, like, switched over to working for her management as her manager's assistant for a little while, and then I got sort of soon after moved into her assistant.
What was your favorite place to go on tour?
Oh, so hard. Well, first of all, touring the U.S. is cool because I made a lot of friends at High Point who live all over the place. And so when you tour the U.S., you get to, like, have a minute in each city and you can visit all those people, like, up and down the East Coast, basically. That was really cool. I got a lot of friends to come to shows and just see them for, like, a minute. I was always super busy, but they were always good to, like, come to the shows.
That's how I met you. That was pretty cool.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And then international, I love Sydney, Australia.
Oh my gosh.
Amsterdam is really beautiful. There's, like, these canals and you can take these little boats, and that was really awesome. New Zealand's amazing.
Is it true that there's kangaroos jumping around everywhere?
Not really.
Not really.
I mean, I'm sure if you went to like the sticks, but like we only go to the major cities basically
Yeah.
because like that's where the shows would be. So, but no, I think there are. I actually studied abroad in Australia, and I remember hearing about like some beaches where there were some kangaroos jumping around. But I personally, we actually, this is funny. We went to like a kangaroo and koala place. And there was like all these like exotic Australian animals, and all of us were super scared. And Demi was like the one that was like luring them all in, and they would like come and like cuddle with her. And the people there were like, "Wow, these animals hate everyone." So that was a really fun time. But
That's awesome.
That's super memorable.
Now,
yeah, it was a really good time.
I know I've had a little experience working a concert, but definitely not at any big venues. But what is it like working at these huge venues?
You were with Andy Grammer, right?
Yes.
Because he was on the show I'm on now. So at venues, arenas are so fun. It's like such good energy, and
I know.
you're just like,
so awesome.
the crew loads in. So you get into an arena and it's an empty floor. It's like it would look like for a basketball game or whatever, and except it's cement because they don't want us on their floor. And then we load in like a whole show. Like we have all our trucks pull up the loading dock. We load in our whole show. And then all the seats go in and everything, and there's sound checks during the day, and like our sponsorship booths go up on the concourse. And then, we sound check, and then Demi gets in hair and makeup, and we do like our ritual, like and our warm up and everything. And then she does her like vocal stuff and everything, and then goes on stage, and then we finish the show, and they load out, put it back on the truck. We go to sleep on the bus and drive to a new city, and then do it all again the next day.
Oh my God, that is insane.
We also like to work out in the arenas.
Oh, I definitely saw that on like one of her tour videos that was made.
Yeah, so we would like run the stairs and like do lunges across the floor. This is before they put the chairs in and the stage is just going in, so there's like quite a bit of space.
I need to hop on
We even
this
got it so that our like front of house, like the guy who like controls the speakers, would like play music for us to work out to, and it's like the real deal like music system because it's like a whole arena
yes,
doing.
that's so sick.
It was really fun.
I need to hop
on
on that
the
bandwagon.
concourse. Yeah, it was a really good workout. It was fun, and you have like such motivation because there's like so many people around, and you're like, all right, I gotta do this. Like, run faster.
Oh, God. I mean, that's really what I want to do. I want to travel the world. This is like my dream job, traveling the world, but being on tour. Like that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it is for sure. There's definitely little sad moments when you're just seeing the inside of an arena and like you don't get to see the city, but
right.
But usually like the way tours are routed, there's like days off here and there that you're in cool spots.
And
you get to like explore.
Did you like living on a bus?
Yeah, I sleep so well on tour buses.
Really?
Do you actually?
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
because there's no window, and so it's perfectly dark, and like the noise of the engine is sort of like white noise, and then like just the I sleep on the top bunk, and so there's like a little bit of a sway, and it just like rocks you to sleep.
That sounds relaxing, actually.
But I can't speak for everyone. I say I sleep on tour buses because I know plenty of people that don't.
Oh yeah, I know exactly. So, what would you say has been the highlight of your career?
Probably SNL.
Oh my gosh, so jealous.
SNL was amazing. I mean, I've always been a fan of SNL, and like just an incredible show that's done it for so long. There's so much history, and there's so many huge like stars in the comedy world that have come out of that show, and it's like a really respectable show. And then when Debbie performed on it, like it was like my sort of like just came into my job as her day to day, and so we had just promoted Cold for the Summer and Confident. And Stone Cold was just coming out, and that was a really big moment in recording her album was that song. And so then just combining all that together, it was like it was just amazing.
That sounds really cool. Yeah, we just went to the Jimmy Fallon show.
That was so much fun.
Cool.
Oh, so fun. I loved it.
It was so cool being in that studio.
Right. Yeah.
We loved it.
True. So that's like 2 floors below SNL.
Right. Yeah, we were talking to some pages.
Really cool to think about.
Yeah, it's
so cool.
That's awesome. Did you ever experience any challenges while being on tour?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like you live your life. Like, I'd always say, like, it feels like my real life is just on a pause button and I'm, like, living this other life. But it's not. Like, things happen and you miss weddings and you miss, whatever. But you have your tour family to make up for that. And, like, you're tired. Like, you fly a lot when you're international touring. Right. And people get sick. But it's just, like, fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, I've been to California, but I'm going out to LA this summer, which I'm super excited about because Kate lives out there.
I do.
But how do you like it out there? Because it's definitely a lot
than
different
North Carolina
than Connecticut.
Yeah. Well, Kate, where do you live?
I'm from San Diego, but I go up to LA every now and then, and I love the vibe. So whenever I could go up, I go.
She's definitely a Cali girl.
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, I'm definitely an East Coast girl. Like, I love the East Coast and the Four Seasons, and like just even the sports there and everything, and my family's there. But like, I definitely love LA also. I mean, my career's here, and like, I have a whole new like set of like friends and everything in LA, and there's always things to do, which is great. And like, yeah, I've just definitely made like my life here now. So,
do you think that you're gonna end up back on the East Coast?
I don't know. You know, I always like think about. It's definitely on my bucket list to work in country music one day, and that's obviously in Nashville. But also in LA. You never know.
This girl's obsessed with Nashville.
I have such an obsession with Nashville.
I know, it's amazing, but
really
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I didn't know I'd live in LA 4 years ago, so who knows where I'll be in another 4. Although I do love New York also. We spent like a lot of time in New York 2 summers ago, like weeks and weeks, and I was like, oh, I could get used to this, but then that was also summer, and like New York in the winter is very cold. And I've definitely lost that like ability to deal with cold weather.
Yeah, I mean, we spent our whole spring break in New York City because we got sent to the Today Show, but it was very, I don't know.
That's so cool.
That it was cool, but I mean, it was definitely an experience. I feel like if I'm going to live in a city, it has to be LA because I love palm trees and the beach, so.
I know. I always joke like the goal, the dream would be like bi-coastal, but you know.
Yeah. Who knows? I think that there's a lot
of
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity opening up here, like on the East Coast, not just LA. So who knows where you end up?
Yeah,
debatable. I know Atlanta is getting super popular with production and stuff.
Yeah, Atlanta's cool.
I have a question.
Yeah, Kate.
I'm dying to know because I'm a huge Nick Jonas fan. Probably the one person in this world I would completely fangirl over. So obviously, like, you worked with Demi, and now her and Nick Jonas are on tour together. So how would you describe Nick?
Nick's the best.
That's what I like to hear.
Both Nick and Joe are like great guys, and
bless.
I love it.
I mean, they're so fun. They're really cool, and they're like super supportive of everything going on in Demi's world, and Demi's super supportive there, like with DNCE, and then Joe's new album. So I mean, Nick's new album. So they're awesome. Nick's super cool, and
have you
he's
gotten
like that guy that when he walks in a room, he like makes sure he says hi to everybody in the room.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I feel like that's so him.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Are you close with Demi now through all this?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have such a history, and we've been like so close for so many years. Like that won't just go away. We of course talk all the time, and it was funny. My first week on Dancing with the Stars, she was on Idol, and Idol is the same lot as Dancing with the Stars, so I had to go visit her.
Oh, that's so cute. Friendship goals right there.
We have 2 more questions. One, so now that you're working with Dancing with the Stars, we are now hearing that a girl, Kelsey, also from High Point, is now working with Demi.
Oh, yeah. So Kelsey Kirshner, she was Beta with me, and when I got my job as her day-to-day manager, one of my tasks was to replace myself as her assistant. And so I interviewed a ton of people, and my boss kind of sparked my mind to be like, well, do you have anyone that you like already know and already are friends with and whatever? And I like immediately thought of Kelsey, and it turned out she was like not loving her current job, and so she ended up, meeting the team, and everyone loved her, and so she was Demi's assistant. We worked together for months, and then
that really
worked
worked out.
Dancing, but she's still there. Yeah.
Yeah. I know some of the girls in my sorority are friends with her, so I was like, oh,
yeah, she's awesome.
So cool.
She has such good energy, and she's so positive, and
she seems awesome.
In the family, she's really great.
Well, we just want to say thank you again for doing this. We really do appreciate it.
Of course.
And just some last-minute advice for everyone in the comm department and electronic media majors like ourselves. Any last advice you'd like to give?
Yeah, I mean, it's just take every opportunity that comes across your desk. Like, you can't ever like rule anything out. You never know. Like, I never thought I'd live in LA, and I was like, all right, let's do it. And I moved like a couple weeks later, and it panned out well, and so some opportunities aren't as good, but some are, and so you got to just like take every opportunity given to you and really put yourself out there. And like, well, some Friday nights it might be more fun to like go out with your friends than like go maybe work for free at some event that like could make you connections with somebody. Like, you got to do it and like follow through with those connections, because they know people who know people, and it could lead to a future job.
Right. That's really good advice. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Caroline. We do appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
It was great talking to you again. I'm sad I won't get to see you at Demi's tour this summer.
I know. Who knows? Maybe I'll show up in a few cities.
Yeah. Come back to Connecticut and visit.
That would be really fun. That'd be really fun.
All right. Well, I hope to see you in the future.
Good luck to you.
Our paths cross again, but thank you again. We do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.